I just we lost another legend, another giant, Coach George Raveling. We lost Jerry the year before. George is one of the most important men of his generation. So again, condolences to his family. His teachings will live with us for a long time. Well, welcome. We're actually very excited to get started tomorrow. Training camp is where we start to build the foundation of our season, and it's about establishing the right habits day in and day out. Our players have been working very hard this off season, and now it's about competing, growing together, and making the most out of every opportunity. It's cliche-ish, but it's true. Every practice, every walkthrough, every film session, every player development session, every lifting session is an opportunity to get a little bit better. We're a deep team with a lot of proven players 1 through 11 and reinforcements at every position. This summer, we were able to add size, athleticism, and shooting in the front court, plus playmaking, ball handling, and shooting in the backcourt. We're super excited to watch this group grow together. Now, I'm not naive. I know there are a lot of questions about our organization. I wish I could answer them all, but out of respect to the NBA investigation, I can't. What I can do is answer what I'm able to share. I will say this. We are glad there's an investigation, and we welcome it. We appreciate that there'll be a clear-eyed look at these allegations, and we're eager for the truth to come out. The assumptions and conclusions that have been made are disappointing and upsetting, and we expect the investigation will show that these allegations are wrong. I'm hurt for Steve. He's one of the best people and most honorable people I've ever met. He does things the right way for the right reasons. And he constantly reminds us to stay on the right side of the rules. I'm also hurt for our players, our staff, and fans. And on a larger level, as I've learned more about this over the past month, I feel bad for all the people who were defrauded by this individual. Let's not forget, this was a case of widespread fraud, and there were a lot of different victims. The salary cap governs everything we do. Our mission every day is to build the best team we can under the constraints of the cap. There is no gray area. There are no secret shortcuts. It's clear what we are and are not allowed to do. The accusations made against us are serious, and they don't line up with my experience, my reality. We will cooperate with this investigation and let this process play out. But we're eager for the whole truth, the whole picture to be revealed. We're very confident in what it will show. Questions?
Great. So please, hold on. Please raise your hand. We have only one microphone. So if you have a question, raise your hand. And when we come to you, please state your name and organization. Ping, first hand up.
David Pingalore, KTLA. Lawrence, I've known you for a long time. And how do you, the optics don't look good, but how do you work through this at this point as the season starts?
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of inferences and insinuations, Ping. Obviously, I can't comment on that. But we do look forward to providing the facts to the league so they can see the entire picture, which I think is critical. We feel very, very confident we're on the right side of this, and we'll just focus on what we can control and trust the investigative process.
Thanks, Lawrence.
I like that. Russo writes.
I'm sorry. Hey, you said I had to say it.
See what he did there?
Yeah, good plug. And I just amplified it.
Thank you. I know you can't discuss the ongoing investigation, but how do you see it impacting the players? Is it something that can impact the group as they get ready for the season to unfold, or is that just something you think they'll just take in stride?
Yeah, I think one is you acknowledge it. I mean, there's no sense with it. And then, they know that we're very confident that we're on the right side of things. And then you just focus on what you can control. I mean, if you're looking for a distraction, you can find one, right? I think what makes athletes so special is their ability just to focus on things they can control. They have great pride in being Clippers. So obviously they don't want to hear any disparaging, remarks, allegations, accusations. Yet at the same time, they're focused on playing, competing, and bringing their best.
Lawrence, this is Ramona Shelburne with ESPN. Just following up on the NBA investigation of this situation. I'll ask you the same thing I asked Steve, which was, has Dennis Robinson, Kawhi's uncle, ever asked for any extra benefits that wouldn't be allowable under the NBA salary cap directly to you? There's not a lot coming out of his asks.
Yeah, look, Dennis knows the rules, Kawhi knows the rules, Mitch Frankel knows the rules, and we know the rules.
Is that a yes or a no, though?
Yes, we all know the rules.
Lawrence, Chris Mannix, Sports Illustrated.
What's up, Chris?
You said earlier you're very confident that the team is going to wind up on the right side of things with this Kawhi investigation. I guess I'm wondering, what's given you that confidence over the last few weeks? Have you learned anything about why Kawhi would take $7 million per year from a company to endorse something he never actually endorsed?
Yeah, I think the confidence breeds, Chris, is just seeing the entire truth and knowing the entire truth. I can't comment just due to the investigation of anything related to that. And, but I will say, which, I think everyone gets, is that endorsement contracts are completely separate than player contracts. So what a player makes, whether it's Kawhi or any of our other players' endorsement contracts, I have no idea. But the confidence is breeding just from once the league sees the entire truth, we feel very confident.
Let's get ready for Hoop Jab.
Now, that was the GM breaking his silence, speaking out on the case. So now, since the GM has opened his mouth and decided to speak, Kawhi has some things that he wanted to share about the case. And for Kawhi, man, that was classic. Like I told y'all, nothing's going to come of this. People are making a big deal over nothing. So don't forget to hit the like button. What's up, Intelligent Hoopla? I wasn't even supposed to be making this video today. It was like, Kawhi's talking. I'm like, Kawhi's talking? Oh, we definitely going live right now. So we'll have Kawhi right after the intro. Hi, I'm Carcino. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them.
Raise your hand if you have questions.
Kawhi, Joe Marizano with Clutch Points. Good to see you again. Just curious, there's been a lot of talk around you and the Clippers and NBA investigation last month. Just curious how you're kind of approaching this training camp and kind of not letting that, get in the way, just distract or anything like that.
Oh, I mean, it's easy for me. I don't read headlines or do conspiracies, theories, or anything like that. So, it's about the season and what we got ahead of us right now. And tomorrow we'll start camp and see what we got.
Do you have any reaction or statement regarding some of the things that have been alleged over the last month?
No, I mean, the NBA is going to do their job. None of us did no wrongdoing. That's it. They invite the investigations. It's not going to be a distraction for me or the rest of the team.
Hi, Ramona Shelburne, ESPN. What is your understanding of the endorsement deal that you had with the company that's been talked to Aspiration, and did you perform any services for them?
When you say understand, what do you mean?
Like of the contract you signed and how much money you were to receive, what you were supposed to perform for those services?
I understand that full contract and the services that I had to do. Like I said, I don't deal with the conspiracies or the clickbait analyst or journalism that's going on. So that's what it is.
Well, I think the allegation was that you didn't perform any services for them. Is that accurate, or did you
I
do
don't
things for
think
them?
it's accurate, but it's old. This is all new to you guys. The company went bankrupt a while ago, so we already knew this was going to happen. So
You were named as like the largest creditor in the bankruptcy filing, right? Did you actually get the money that was owed to you in the contract, or?
no, but the company went belly up. It was Friday, as everybody knows. If you want any more questions or more details about that company, you need to ask the owner or whoever else is involved in the fraud that went on.
Right, I think they said they owed you $7 million or something, right?
I'm not sure. I gotta look back at the books, but no, it's more than that for sure.
Do you have any idea of how much you actually made on that?
No, it was like 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Kawhi, Lauren Rosen with FanDuel. I remember how much it meant to you to go into the playoffs healthy last season. Lawrence was just talking about the fact that you were able to have a healthy off season as well. What did that mean to you, and how does it change the way that you're able to approach a regular season with health?
It was just exciting to be in the off season, not going through rehab. So I was able to push my body to the limit of what I wanted to do without repercussions or dealing with a therapist or anything. So I mean, that was great for me. Able to walk around and just enjoy my summer.
Kawhi, you said heading into last season, back here, Adam Moslem with Clippers Radio, you said heading into last season, your goal was to come out of it healthy. You were able to achieve that. Do you have a different goal or a new goal heading into this season you can share with us?
No, I mean, this year is just the same thing that I come in the year, just try to win a championship, do the best I can, try to play as many games as possible, just go from there. We'll see what we have. We got some new players on our team this year, see what they could bring us, and see if we could make something special.
How you doing, Kawhi? Me just being with Family TV. Just speaking of those new players, Bradley Beal and John Collins, can you just speak on those additions added to the team to see how's everything going with those?
Yeah, I mean, with Beal, everybody knows who he is. He's a 3-level scorer. Can also pass the basketball. He's going to help out a lot by being a ball handler, another decision maker on the floor, spreading the defense out. And John, same thing, spread the defense out, guarded a lot for Utah Jazz the last few years, and athletic, could run and jump with the best of them on the floor. And another name, Brooke, obviously the 7-foot shooting big. You need those in this league today.
Hey, Kawhi, Justin Russo writes, good to see you. I remember after Game 7 against Denver, you mentioned you were thankful to get through the season healthy and have an off season where you didn't have to worry about rehab or anything like that. Mentally, what has that done for you to come into a year where you didn't spend your off season trying to get back on the floor?
It was great. Like I said, I was able to just move around how I wanted to without checking in with a doctor or a rehab specialist, and able to just go on the court, do my skill work or go weight train and just live freely. I mean, I know it's hard for some people to understand, but it's a lot of aches and pains that you go through with playing in the NBA, and simple as just sitting down and able to just get up with no pain. It just feels great, and like I said, just to go through a summer like that, it was a blessing.
Last one.
So Kawhi, Lumber, The Athletic, good to see you, man. Obviously, your name has been a topic of conversation all month. Now you got to get ready to help this team win and focus on the season. How do you approach that? Like, how do you approach that with the guys that you play with T-Lou, to say, y'all going to hear my name a lot, y'all going to get a lot of questions, focus on what needs to be focused on?
I think it's easy. For us, It's nothing to hide. There's no wrongdoing there. So we just gonna keep going as any other season. My name might pop up, but it is what it is. I've been through times like this before, just going through the year last year with going through the fire. As soon as I came back, that first game, my house and my community caught on fire. So I don't think it's going to be harder than that.
Thank you. Who else has-
Boom. Kawhi says, I don't do controversy. No, you don't suspend Kawhi Leonard. What is you talking about? All these crazy people. The Lakers, they're going to trade him. They're going to make Kawhi deal become void. What did I tell you? Smoke. NBA is 0-2 in their investigation. Oh, man, ain't nothing to find. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, man. I just think at this point, Kawhi Leonard is in the Clippers that it's just so marred against them. This whole little incident got blown out of proportion and messed up their whole season already. Even if they win, they just automatically going to be viewed as the bad guys. So Kawhi is not trying to seek approval. Yeah, it's incoming is 0-3. The Terrence Crawford couch. Man, I just did 20,000 steps. I'm supposed to be resting right about now. Remember, I just did a 2-hour live stream walking with no water in immense heat. And then I come out to do this, and my body's trying to recuperate. I get the Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers media day. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, then they get James Harden. Like, let's get Harden in here. So James come out there.
What was that?
James high as hell. Wait, look at James when he first come in.
What was that?
Look at James. What was that?
What was that?
James high as kite.
What's up, James? Grant Moan of the Sporting Tribune. Welcome back. Coming into this season, obviously fresh off of the 7-game
All right.
What's up,
let's go
James?
again.
Ramon of the Sporting Tribune. Welcome back. Coming into this season, obviously fresh off of the 7-game loss in the first round. How do you feel coming into the season? You played 79 games last season with the added depth. So has there been any conversation about kind of supplementing that through the regular season, and how do you feel going into the season?
Me, I feel good. I feel really good. Worked a lot on my conditioning because and lifting. As you get older, make sure your body is strong and being able to be durable and contribute in other ways. But I feel really good. And then as far as the team, I think we added a lot of pieces that we're missing. We filled a spot in every position, from backup, big and Brook to being able to be versatile and do different things that Zoo is able to do. Athletic and can shoot, and John, Brad, who's in league scorer, and then obviously with vet experience in CP. So, things change over the course of the year, and it's for us, we've all been on different teams and experience or whatnot. It's on us to figure out what's the best way to play and go from there. But the excitement level was there.
What's up, James? BJ Matthews of the Sporting Tribune. Welcome back. Question about this upcoming season. You being in your next 17th season and also being able to average what you averaged last year, all NBA third team. What gives you year by year motivation and going into this season? What have you personally said to yourself that you want to really accomplish in actually this upcoming year?
There's no secret. I think we all are trying to accomplish the same thing individually. That I've accomplished everything, in this game individually. So, I think that there's no secret of what we're trying to accomplish here, and it's going to be a lot of different steps to be able to get to that. But I think we have the roster, the depth to actually accomplish it. So many teams in this league is we're trying to win a champ. There's only a handful who has a real opportunity. It's a couple factors that plays into that. Obviously, you gotta be good enough. Straight up, you gotta be good enough, and you gotta be healthy. Those are the two things. So, we're both those right now, and we gotta play this whole year out and put ourselves in a great position to compete at a high level when it comes to postseason.
Yeah, James, Beth Harris, AP. With the Clippers hosting the All-Star game, what's your opinion on the league going with a U.S. versus world format this time around?
I'm assuming trying to find ways to, bring some more attention to the game. I think that this is probably the most we've seen as a unit as far as global stars. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of global stars, and so I think just trying to find some ways to make the game more competitive and bring some more awareness to the game. And what better place to do it, here in LA into it. So something to get excited about.
James, good to see you. Justin Russo writes, this is your 17th media day. I'm kind of just curious, going into the season, do you still get the same level of excitement going into a season now?
I love to I don't even like what you just said 17 years because it just made me feel like I'm goddamn old. But basketball is just, it gives me a different feeling. I just love it. You know what I mean? So it's a new challenge. When it's media day and then you got training campuses, it's a new opportunity to be legendary, individually and finding ways to bring the best out of your teammates as a leader of the team. And then still trying to, accomplish what we're trying to accomplish as a unit. So it feels like, day one for me.
Lawrence said you could call you guys seasoned.
Say it again?
Lawrence said you could be called seasoned instead of older vets.
Yeah, that's a good word.
James are the Cliff Boys. James, welcome back. I wanted to ask you about how, Lawrence mentioned that, everyone's kind of aligned here. You mentioned it, but Father Time is undefeated. Everyone kind of feels like, you only get so many cracks at it. And so how does kind of the sour taste of last season, the ending of last season anyway, it was a great season, just didn't end great. How do you kind of let that fuel you guys, knowing that you only have so many cracks at it?
I don't think there's a sour taste. Like we got, half of a new roster. I mean, just really, I feel like it was rejuvenated with the guys that we got. You know what I mean? Like coming into last season, I think they picked us to win 35 games or something like that. And we ended up in the 5th seed and, pretty good record. You know what I mean? So I think just the expectations is going to be a little bit different going into this year. But for us, it's like I've been on so many teams. It's not even about like what people think or how people feel. I think it's just figuring out how can we bring out each other and maximize what we have in this locker room. Like that's the most important thing. You guys are gonna no disrespect, but you guys are gonna write up and say whatever you want to say. There's gonna be times in the season where we're not playing well. There's gonna be times in the season where we're like the best team in the NBA. Like it's a part of it. You know what I mean? Like I've literally lived through it. So I think for us it's just like riding that roller coaster together and figuring out, hey, this is what works for us as a unit. This is gonna give us the best chance to be the last team standing. And once we figure it out, like, we gotta just roll with the punch. But yeah, I've had 17 or 16 sour tastes in my mouth. So, it's just trying to get that out.
3 more long.
Lumber and Athletic, it's you, James. Bradley Beal's on the scene now, and I want to know from you what you observed from him over the last 2 years in Phoenix, why you felt like you can help him bounce back if there's something to bounce back from on this year's Clippers team as opposed to, the form that he wasn't able to recapture in Phoenix.
Because I went through it. Like I went through it, trying to sacrifice and trying to do whatever it takes to win. I feel like that's what the world wanted to see, and as a basketball player, you feel like you're supposed to do it just to quote unquote give yourself the best chance of winning and all that good stuff that sounds right, and for you guys to write up and say good things about like I've been through it, you know what I mean, to where we're past that. Like Brad is a killer on the court, and we bring the best out of him. Put him in positions to where he's successful, he looks good, and we all look good. And that's literally T. Lou's job, that's my job, and that's all of our jobs to bring out the best in every individual person on this team. So he was in a situation where he was with 2 alphas, and it just didn't work out. I've been in that situation, so. For us, it's just, man, just getting back to loving the game of basketball and riding for each other. So
Hey, James, Farmer S. Nashari on SI. You mentioned a couple times about bringing the best out of people. What's kind of been the secret to that for you? Because you've been one of the best in the league at it for a very long time. Is there something you're still learning, or what's been the secret to that for you?
Of course, I'm always learning. Finding out what the person is, like what makes them happy, what they're good at, on the court, off the court, and just making sure, diving into that. But and then obviously figuring out what the person is a very good, and helping with that aspect as well. So it's just it takes time, it takes patience. But when you're a leader, it's natural. So and sometimes for me that's just sacrificing, whatever that looks like, and I enjoy it because. I think once our team is playing well, when guys are happy, you can sense that energy. Like it just brings a different kind of excitement out of me too. So I think we seen that last year with Zoo.
And James is in shape, y'all.
The whole year. So piggybacking on that, and then just finding other guys to kind of bring that same energy out of them. Because ultimately, it's just going to be better for our team. So I think we're ready to get the ball rolling tomorrow.
Hi, James, Adam Moslem, Clippers Radio. What was your relationship like with CP3 after your time together with the Rockets, and how excited are you to be looking back up now with the Clippers?
Relationship was there, we didn't talk consistently like I would talk to anybody else that wasn't on my team consistently. But obviously he did some amazing things after he left the Rockets, with the Suns and whatnot. So. I think, not even just Chris, I think all of us are on the same page. Like, we're not sugarcoating anything. Like, there's no, there's no hidden agendas. Like we're all literally trying to accomplish the same thing. And that right there, beauty of it going into one season, knowing that we're all trying to get the same thing and figuring out what that looks like is actually like, it feels easier because been on a situation, certain teams, guys got individual agendas, whether it's contract years or trying to make a name for themselves or whatever the case may be. And now, like for the most part, like the 11th guys, we all got the experience. Like we've all been on really good teams. We've all scored the ball out. Like it's about one thing, and I think that's a great thing going into the season.
James, Lauren, Rosen, Vandal. When you, I don't know how online you are these days, but as these media day conferences come from around the league, I have heard a lot of young players who are now all-stars and maybe vets, depending on who they are, talking about your influence when they played with you at different stops. And I think that they are so effusive in their praise for what it's like to work with you. But I don't know if we've heard from you enough about that. So what does that mean to you to have that many guys crediting you?
I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't know what you're talking about.
What does it mean to you that so many guys around the league credit you for what they've become?
I don't know, man. It's like I talk about it a lot. But like when you're at work with me or wherever you want, like it's actually fun. You know what I mean? Because like I just talked about a couple minutes ago, like I figure out who you are as a player and how can I help you. And I think it's just in life, like you got somebody that can like try to figure out, like understand who you are as a person, in y'all day-to-day life and work or just not at work. If somebody can find somebody that can try to dive into your life and help you in any aspect, you're gonna be a much better person. You know what I mean? At home with your family or when you come into work. So that's the kind of like thought process behind it. And I've been fortunate to be able to come across a lot of players to help them on and off the court, and for somebody to kind of mention this, it means I'm doing my job.
James here from China Mumbai Miku.
How you doing?
So you had a great China tour this summer. Yeah. What is your favorite thing about it, and what's your message to all fans from China?
China's tour is always an experience, man. It's it's one of the best times that I have throughout the summer. You get an opportunity to be showered with love, enjoy experiences and create different memories and moments with fans that don't get an opportunity to see you consistently. It's a special feeling. So I think this is probably one of my best tours, and they've stuck with me for basically my entire career. So shout out to all my fans in China. Love you guys. I appreciate you for the support, and here we go again.
Thank you, James. Thank you.
Yep.
Let's get ready for Hoop Jab.
Once already, but just gonna say it again. Welcome back. We were just talking to John, and we were telling him how Lawrence was saying he's probably the most athletic power forward this organization has had since Blake. And he was saying how excited he is to play alongside you, play alongside James, because obviously the goal is winning, but he said he loves to bring excitement to the fans, loves to dunk. He's going to have opportunities to do that alongside you two point guards. So just what's your level of excitement to bring that to these fans, just that kind of high-flying show again?
Yeah, I'm excited about it and glad that I don't have to do none of it. Because JC, obviously, he went to Wake Forest too. So I watched him play in college. We had an opportunity to play a few days here and obviously played against him in the league. But his energy, the way he comes in the screens, to see what he did for the past, I don't know how many years with Trae Young, I think that's something that our team is definitely going to need, someone to be a high flyer and play the way that he played.
Chris, first of all, welcome back. Tom Razor with Clutch Points. James is just talking about how he can't believe it's the 17th media day. This is your 21st media day.
Yeah.
How does it feel going through the rounds and everything?
Man, it's wild. You laugh probably at some of the questions that you get, right, when you're doing like all the videos and they asking you, certain questions. It's always a lot of fun though. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of gratitude because all this is part of it, right? And if you're at media day, then two things. That means you're still in the NBA, which is a privilege. And then what it also means is that training camp starts the next day. Right? And that's one of the most exciting times of the year, every single year, because every team goes into training camp thinking that they gonna win the championship or at least have a chance at it. You know, so it's a really fun time of the year.
Lawrence mentioned that, you know, it feels like this time only gives you so many cracks at it, and you guys have to take advantage when you can. How aligned do you guys kind of feel like, I don't know if you guys had a chance to, you know, mini camp or anything like that, but how aligned do you kind of feel like this team is heading into what, you know, is a lot, you know, better years for some of you guys?
I mean, I think a lot of us have talked. We've got the gym together. Obviously, the league's a lot different now than back in the day where, you know, you got about 4 or 5 practices before the first training camp. But the one thing about having a lot of vets that we have is, you know, there's not a lot of talking that has to be done, right? Like we got to get together, see what it looks like on the court. But everybody knows, you know, sort of what you have to do, but you got to really build those relationships with the time.
Chris, Ramona Shelby, ESPN. You've been through so many things in your NBA career, like whether it be scandals or the thing that happened when you got here with Donald Sterling, right? In San Antonio last year, I'm sure that was a lot up and down with Pop and his health and everything. How do you ever think to yourself like, man, I have really been through a lot in my 20 years in the league? I mean, founded the bubble. Think about all of that.
You know, what's crazy is a lot of it I somewhat forget or don't think about till somebody mentions it, to tell you the truth. And I think, fortunately, that's because, for the most part, I got a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? As far as family, kids, wife, all that stuff going on. But definitely seen a lot and experienced a lot. So, yeah, it's been interesting.
Do any of these guys ask you about it? Like, I mean, I could pick 5 things I could ask you about, like these things that you've been in the middle of.
At times, sometimes people ask me about it, but I tell you, being in the seat that I was in on a lot of them, whether it be one of the star players or president of the union, my hat has always been different. So I've had a different view, different lens. But usually somebody asks me about it, I usually tell them. But sometimes people ask, but I forget. I forget that when I went to Houston, owner changed in too. Yeah, so a lot of stuff didn't happen.
I guess my last thing for you is just when you came here the first time, there was a whole trade. Right? That was to the Lakers, and then it was undone, and then you got to the Clippers. This one was a little less chaotic. Does it feel a little full circle coming back here sort of toward the end after all that?
Definitely. I was in the locker room talking with Brad about how this is, I think, year 14 for him. I know Brad since he was in high school, so year 14 for him is crazy. Yeah, it's just time slows down for no one, you know, and I think that's why you just got to cherish the moments and take full advantage of it.
Hey, Chris, Lauren Rosen with Randall. We saw you get a little emotional and choked up when you came back for your intro press conference. I'm curious if it's really set in for you that jersey is back on your body, and if not, when do you think it might truly set in?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a lot, obviously, when the press conference happened because all the conversations and all the things to end up here, you know, and like I said, to have my family there, my kids there, and now I was in the gym all weekend watching my kids play. You know, and I hadn't watched them play in the last 6 years. So it's all sort of probably going to be taking place. But now I'm excited about getting to work. You know, and that's why I said, you know, with media day to day, that means we start tomorrow.
Chris, I'm going to the Athletic and see you again. So you talking about being in the gym, like you get in the gym. You've been working, like we've gotten to see some of that. You played all 80, you started all 82 last year. But as someone with the experience level and your life experience level, like how are you approaching training camp? Like training camp, guys don't even want to be in training camp. Sometimes they would just wait till the season when they need it. Like, how are you at this stage of your life and career approaching, like, not just participating, but, trying to show these coaches that you're ready to play day one?
Yeah, I ain't never thought like that, just to tell you the truth. It's always been about hooping and the fun of it and the connectivity and being on a team. I think if I wanted to do something individual, I would have went and tried to play golf or tennis. That's the thing about being on a team, is like understanding that you alone aren't enough, right? And so with our team, like I said, everyone always asks, what am I teaching these guys? But when I get in the gym with Trent Flowers, Jay Mill, all these guys, I'm constantly learning from them too. So, and there's a competition aspect, right? You step onto the court at 35, 40 years old, and the youngins are always like, oh, we got it. You know what I mean? So it's the competition aspect of it, and it's a game. It's basketball. So I've been playing that since I was 4 or 5 years old, and I love it.
Hi, Chris. Justin Russo writes, since that press conference that you gave, you've been out and about doing several things. You went to Angel City with your daughter to celebrate her birthday. You went to the Sparks game with your family. Kind of being back home, not having to go anywhere when the season starts, what does that mean to you?
You have no idea. Seriously, shoot. My son had a game at 10 Saturday morning. My daughter had 2 games in Ladera Ranch. So driving, just getting that time is everything. This time, the past 6 years, I've been gone. You know what I mean? And I know other people go through it and stuff like that, but it's been really cool to be able to see them, to see them. And that makes all this even better. All the basketball and all that stuff. So just being back, went to a Dodger game with my wife, just getting a chance to do life a little bit, not just basketball, I think helps.
And you mentioned you were the president of the union at one point. The WNBA is going through pretty big CBA negotiations. Kind of what advice, when you were president of the union, would you give to them as they look to get what they believe is their fair share?
Man, to them is to talk as a collective as much as possible, right? Talking about the ladies, the women, all of them, talk as much as possible and over communicate the situation.
Hey, Chris, Beth Harris, AP,
Yes.
been through a million different all-star formats and over the years. I'm just kind of wondering what you think about what's coming up here in February with this US versus world format.
Man, I ain't even gonna lie to you. I don't know what it is. I've been so disconnected. You know what I mean? Seriously, I don't know what the format is for this year.
Yeah, that's basically, they want to hit US versus like the foreign stars of the league.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm very detail oriented, so I don't even know enough to chime in. I don't know how you pick that or whatnot. So
Now let me try one more on you then. We all know how sports gambling is. The rise of that in this country has been tremendous.
Right.
And I'm wondering now, especially with prop bets, I'm wondering if you as a player have had any negative experiences with fans getting on you that maybe, hey, I bet on you to do X, Y, Z, and I wonder what you think of those type of bets maybe for sports in general.
Well, that goes crazy, to tell you the truth. If you look at every player in any league, to tell you, after the game, your social media is flooded with people saying that you sold or you did this or did that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's tough. I'm telling you, flooded after the game. Somebody telling you you needed one more assist or you needed one more steal or whatnot. But you control what you can control. That's going out and hooping and playing. I'm sure the betting and the gambling is not going anywhere. But as a player, my advice is to play the game. Hoop, like hoop, do whatever, like play the game and let that take care of itself.
And more Janice?
Chris, Janice Power, George County.
Yes, ma'am.
Southern California Industry. What did Brad's gesture regarding the roster, the jersey number mean to you, and what number would you have worn if he didn't?
Oh man, I didn't know what you was talking about. You said gesture. I was trying to say, what did he do? Man, it meant a lot. You know what I mean? And you say what number would I have worn? if only y'all knew how much money I didn't pay throughout my career to have number 3. You know what I mean? The stuff that guys have asked me to pay or whatnot, it's crazy. So I don't know. At one point I was probably gonna be 12 because it added up to 3. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what number I would award. Thankfully, we don't have to think about it. But one day we'll talk about that. The insane amount of money that guys have asked me for to have number 3. Just know that number ain't never been worth it that much for me. It's a cool number to have, but it ain't worth the asking price some of them boys is asking.
Did Brad charge you?
No, he probably just try to get it back in the car game. But that says a lot about Brad, seriously. You know what I mean? And I've known Brad for a long time, like I said. I can't name another guy in the NBA, honestly, who is as involved as I am in grassroots AAU basketball. You know what I mean? And that's really where we've been connected for the last few years. His team actually beat mine this past year, and they won the Peach Jam championship. But I'm excited because a lot of times you know guys, but you don't really get a chance to know them until you're teammates. And so I'm excited to be teammates with Brad this year.
Thank you, Chris.
Appreciate it.
Let's get ready for Hoop Jab.
No plastic bottles here.
I'm mad at it. I'm in the ocean and everything. Yeah.
Hey, what's good, Brad? BJ Matthews of the Sports Tribune. Welcome to LA. Question about this season right now that you're about to come into. When you were with Phoenix, obviously you averaged 17 points per game off great efficiency shooting. I don't want you to get too deep into it, but in the terms of basketball realm, how do you kind of take it upon being to a new situation with the Clippers? They're going to need you to score the ball. And how looking forward to you actually prove that you're still the same player?
A lot of that. One, I appreciate your acknowledgement. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to meet everybody here. But I'm super excited, man. It's no different than, when I went to Phoenix too. Just being in a new situation, new environment. You obviously got to, warm up, get to know everybody, get to understand the staff, get to understand the system, players, how you guys will play and all of that. But the mentality remains the same, Mine has never changed over the last few years. Like, I know who I am and what I'm capable of doing. I feel like I've still been able to showcase that. And it's just, like you said, we're in different roles, we're in a different life, so it's not going to be what everybody expects it to be. And that's honestly not what I really care about. It's about what's beneficial for the team and whatever job they need me to go do, I'm going to go out there and execute.
Brad, Ramona Shelburne, ESPN. I just wanted to ask you sort of about how the time in Phoenix ended and what that was like for you. It was maybe the second half of the year. Your name was in trade rumors and discussions all the time, and finally a buyout. Like, how do you put that in any kind of perspective in your life, and how did you process that before coming here?
Well, this business is no different than any other year. I'm in trade talks every year. I was in DC for 11, and every single year somebody was trying to move me out of DC. So it's no different. Every year somebody's going to say where they think you should go or what team should make a move. Like, it's very opinionated, but that's the landscape of the business at the end of the day. Phoenix made a decision that they were going to move in a different direction. I can't do nothing but respect it, and I found a situation that was a little bit more beneficial for me, and I'm excited about where I am now.
Just a quick follow-up on your health. I think it was Lawrence mentioned that you had something down on your knee, and sort of where are you at with that and the rest of your health?
Yeah, so after the year, Phoenix, I had like a little scope done in Phoenix, and literally right as soon as the year ended, and now I think I'm ready to rock. So I'm in a great place now. A little minor cleanup after the year, something I was dealing with while playing in Phoenix with a little inflammation in my knee, but I'm locked and loaded. I'm now ready to go. Good procedure earlier in the year, and I'm back working.
Brad, welcome to LA. Tomer are the touch points. Just curious what the conversations were with the team, or maybe I know James probably reached out as well, about why this was a destination for you. How hard was it to leave Phoenix and then make the decision to come here and try to rejuvenate your career in LA? And just walk into all that.
It was a process. For one, you definitely respect Phoenix and appreciate them because they help, get everything done, and the communication was pretty straightforward, So I'm always appreciative of that, and it wasn't easy at all. It wasn't an easy decision because many teams made that push and made their run and made their pitch, and it didn't. It came down to the wire about where I wanted to go, who I wanted to be, what situation I wanted to be a part of, and this in particular stuck out a lot. Just in terms of who one Steve Ballmer is and how he operates and what he stands for. His passion is unmatched. I feel like just with ownership around the league, and then Frank has been around for a long time. He knows the game. He knows players. He knows personnel. T. Lou is another Missouri guy. I'm from Missouri. We had a previous relationship prior to me coming here, and it just all made sense. And like you said, James, I talked to James throughout the process, and their pitch was it was honestly better. It was better. It made more sense. It was more fitting. Felt more confident and comfortable about the role and the situation I was going into. So everything kind of aligned.
Just to follow up, your agent over the summer, I think when the buyout happened, mentioned that you're not a guy who likes to move a lot. Is this a place that you can kind of see yourself, beyond? I know that you guys started it, but just a place you can make home for you, your family, and basketball-wise?
100%. My wife's from here, so that made the transition a little smoother and easier for us. But I love it, man. I love being here. I'm usually here every off season working out anyway, so it wasn't too big of an adjustment for me, living wise and all of that. Like, I'm very acclimated with LA. And it was more or less just about where basketball is going to be best for me. I hope I can finish here. That's the goal. That's the end goal. Something me and Frank talked about. So hopefully, obviously, you got to continue to produce and continue to lead this team to wins, and the future take care of itself.
I've read Justin Russo writes. Lawrence and Tyler both talked about over these weeks, and especially today, about getting you back to the elite level on defense, because you're going to be tasked with guarding the elite ball handlers and all this stuff. Kind of, how do you take that challenge on? Are you looking forward to that?
100%. 100%. I feel like I've had that at least in Phoenix the last couple of years too. Like, just being responsible for guarding, some of the best players in the league. And I'm open for that, man. Like, I am willing to do that. We have a lot of dudes who can put the ball in the basket, so that ain't my job to do every single night. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be other ways. There's other ways, and that's the beauty of it. Like, I sit here and I preach to my AAU kids about there being more than one way of impacting the game besides scoring, and I'm just preaching to myself right now. So yeah, I can showcase that there's other ways to impact the game outside of scoring. Like, I can score the ball with the best of them, but I can also guard too. And that's JVG's been on my ass about that since we got here. So yeah, that won't stop.
Hey, Brad, Joey Lynn on SI. Welcome to LA. You've played with some really great point guards. You've also been in positions where you've had the ball in your hands a little bit more. What's your level of excitement to play alongside James? And I know you said there've already been conversations there, but just what's your comfort level? Do you prefer to have a really ball dominant guard like James next to you to kind of unlock what you do offensively?
I'm open either way. It's always about what the team wants and needs. I'm always, going to be sacrificial in that regard and doing whatever it takes. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't have my best years in my career without a league point guard. The John Walls, the Russ Westbrooks. I've had some really good point guards. So Billy James, CP, and those guys, like, that's just another box I get to check. And I'm super ecstatic about it, man. Just whether the ball's in my hand, I'm playing off the ball, no matter what it is, I'm just happy to get back to good energy and just hooping. That's it.
Paul Murray at the Athletic. Good to meet you, Brad. We talking about, you mentioned Toronto Lou. I know y'all both from Missouri. Like, what has that connection done, like, from a personal standpoint, and what are you excited about specifically from a basketball standpoint about how he can support your success?
I love him. I mean, he's very straightforward. Outside of him playing the game, I think being a player's coach, playing in the league, and, now being in that position to coach, it puts you in a different light than a lot of other coaches. I'm not saying that you have to play the game to be a coach or be impactful, but it does carry a lot of weight when, you're getting through to your team and trying to explain certain situations, especially when you play the same position. So he's able to understand kind of where we come from in a lot of ways. He's able to teach it in manners in which, players sometimes just understand it better. And like you said, like I've had a relationship with him prior. So like it's funny, like he kind of has that same mentality, like what you asked me earlier. Like you do know you're 30-point a game all-star. Like he's like, every time you played the Clippers the last couple of years, you kicked my ass. So like I need that same type of energy over here. So he's been straightforward about it. I think what I love the most about him is he's accountable with everybody. Even with Kawhi and with James, it starts with those two, and he trickles it down to the rest of the team. And he's not a cuss you out, be in your face, but he's going to be very demanding, and he expects results out of his players. There's not. That's all I got.
Thank you, Brad.
Let's get ready for Hoop Jab.
Oh, yeah. Hi, guys, raise your hand if you have a question.
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Chris back here. Was it a hard choice to make in a reserve role, or was it just a no-brainer for you to come back here?
It was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer. I actually did an interview before this, and I was talking about how when you're in this lifestyle or world for a while, it's a lot of people who will try to tell your story for you. And so, I was actually on vacation with my family, and you see all the stories of people saying, he only go here if he's starting or if he's doing this. I think for me, the gratitude that I have for being able to play as long as I've had, I think the easiest decision in this sitting right here is my family. It's getting a chance to be around them and be around a lot more and get a chance to compete and play for a championship.
So he's talking about playing for a championship. Right? Now, this is the old one, of course, before they had today's, which we just saw. But they were talking about playing for a championship. What you talking about? So, ha, 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 ha. What's funny about that?
Anyone already? Hey, Ty, good to see you.
All right.
Good. Thank you. We're doing
got
well.
the man.
We talked to Lawrence about this quite a bit, just with the roster that you guys have. There's so much depth, and you've had a lot of deep teams since you've been here. This one's definitely up there in terms of the amount of playable guys that you have. You've always done a really good job of making sure guys are bought in and keeping that communication open. Has that started already? Talking to guys, knowing like CP played 82 games last year. You got guys like Brad who are used to playing a certain type of way. Those conversations about buy-in and how important that's going to be with this group.
Yeah, we definitely talk about it,
messed up a
and
lot.
so, when camp starts, everyone buys into what you're trying to do and what you're saying, and so we just gotta get to the season and let everyone understand their roles and what we need from them every single night. And I thought our group last year, we did a good job of buying into our roles and who we were as a team, and so we gotta do the same thing this year if we wanna be good.
Murray at the Athletic.
Good to see you.
What were your takeaways after going through and seeing how you're about to enter the offseason in terms of weaknesses and areas of improvement for the Clippers?
There
and
you
how do
go.
feel like the team addressed those with the
That damn Knicks crap.
the team made?
Yeah, I thought Lawrence and Mark and Trent, they did a good job of just, addressing some needs that we needed. Like I said, CP was a point guard, could make plays, could make guys better. Lopez, who's a three-point shooter, but also a great rim protector. I think John Collins with athleticism, the way he's able to, run the floor, finish at the rim, another big bite at the rebound, and then, picking up Bradley, who I think is a really good scorer. He scored at all three levels, and we just got to challenge him like we've been doing all summer, just to get back to being an elite defender he's been in the past. And so our pickups have been great, and so I'm excited about this team.
Hi, good to see you again.
Yes.
Welcome back. When you look at losing a guy like Norm, but also adding a guy like Brad specifically, not exactly the same player, different type of scores, but how do you kind of feel like you'll be able to incorporate a guy like Brad? I know Phoenix probably wasn't the best fit for him. But how do you kind of feel like you can incorporate a guy like him, and how seamless do you think it could be, that transition?
Yeah, I think, having a guy like Brad I think you have a guy who can run pick and roll. He can catch and shoot. He's a great cutter. Can handle the basketball. And so, he does a lot of different things offensively, I think his biggest ability for us is being able to pass the ball and make plays for Zoo and guys like that when he comes off pick and roll. So I don't think it'd be hard at all just to incorporate him into what we're trying to do.
Ty, Ramona Shelburne, ESPN. What is your long-term relationship with Chris Paul like? I mean, you guys go so far back because you've been around forever and he's been around forever, but what is it like to have him back now and the role that he's going to be in?
Full circle. When I came here in, I think 2013, when I was doing the defense for Doc, CP, like I said, he was the best player on our team, and just being able to be around him and understand him and know him has been great. And so we've had a great relationship since then, so to bring him back now, when he's 40 years old, it's just good to see him back and, like I said, still playing.
Who's a louder voice in the locker room, you or him?
Oh, him. I don't do a lot of talking.
Hi. Hey, good to see you. It's Justin Russo writes. What do you foresee John's role being on this team for you guys? Because Lawrence has talked about bringing in a 4 who can also sometimes play 5. What do you kind of foresee his role as for you guys?
Just versatile, a versatile big that can guard multiple positions. I think, like you said, he can play 4 and then play some backup 5 as well. And play some backup 5 as well for us. I think if we want to go small ball 5, if you have big bodies on the floor like him, Nico, and Kawhi together, that's a pretty big unit. And so I just see him being versatile, being able to play the 4 and the 5.
Hey, Ty, Janice Carr.
How you doing?
Good. Have you told James that he doesn't have to play 79 games this season?
Yeah, I told him. He's not going to listen. He wants to play. That's a good thing. Especially nowadays, just having a player that wants to play every night, and if he's not hurt, he's not injured, he wants to play. And so, but we do have to do a good job to protect him from himself, so he's not, getting worn out and worn down, and maybe we can stop some injuries that can, seep in. So we just want to make sure we're doing right by Jay.
What's going on, Coach? Good seeing you again. BJ Matthews of the Sports Tribune. Piggybacking a little bit off of Justin's question, bringing John Collins in, put him at the 4. How much have you been thinking about bringing Kawhi now? He can play the 3 a lot more and playing at his natural position. Have you thought a lot about that in the acquisition of getting Collins this year?
Yes, I have. And then just like you said, getting a bigger traditional 4. Nico's getting older, but just having a guy with his size and his strength, a guy that can match up with a guy that gives us a lot of problems, like I said, on names, but at that position that's just strong and athletic, and Collins would be great for that, for that matchup and what we're trying to do. So I'm excited about that.
2 more.
Hey, Coach. Eric Robinson, New Stitch Media. How do you think the veteran leadership with Harden, Hall of Fame veterans, and Chris Paul leading the team, how do you think it translates to younger players?
It's already been great. I think just CP being here, all summer. I think James, the things he's done with the young guys over the years has been great. But CP take them to the football game, take them to the Chris Brown concert, just things like that to involve the young guys and, bring everybody together. That's what CP does. That's what leaders do. And so it's just been good, just having CP back, a guy who's been here, who understands the organization, and to be able to bring the young guys along. So I think it's really good for us.
Hey, Ty, Graham Ono, the Sporting Tribune right here. Good to see you again. With Zoo and Brooke, is there anything that you guys have talked about? I know it's early, but with Brooke and Zoo maybe playing together, and then what Brooke can maybe unlock for Zoo fresh off of a career year?
I think, with Zoo just not running him into the ground. I think, last year I thought we played him a lot. We didn't really have a backup center, so we, when things got tough, we always had to get Zoo back in the game. I thought he played too many minutes. If you ask him, he didn't play enough. But for me, just too many minutes. So I think you give Zoo a center, a backup that's, solidified in this league and brings what we need defensively and also can spread the floor by shooting the basketball. I think it'll keep Zoo fresher, and I think we can, like I said, play Brooke a lot more. We don't have to really rush back and get Zoo in the game.
Thank you. Players up next.
Let's get ready for Hoop Chat.
That is it. Now, that is it for right now. We've gotten through the introductions and everything, and now, so what y'all think? I say the Clippers are going for a championship. This ring is personal. Clippers for the championship, baby. All the way. This ring is personal this year. And I'm with it. We out.